What's up, guys? Hey, SM. Hey, Marky. Sorry for the late start, but I had a little bit of a rough day today. It was a bit of a beat down, but in a good way. Oh shit! I didn't even put up the green screen. See what I mean? Like it's open to the back of my house. That's why I have the green screen. Look at that. Magic hologram program disappeareth. Oh my goodness. I hope everybody's having a fantastic hump day, which is almost over. Let's see, what am I forgetting here? Getting something. I don't know what. Something. I forget what I was doing. But yeah, today was not a bad day, except I had one weird call with a client. And so now I've got to go do some investigation because some weird stuff came up on their penetration test. And then, so I got to do some troubleshooting on that tomorrow. But I did keep my workout going. Oh my god. So yesterday is a push day with arms. So it's tricep, like skull crushers. And then what else? Chest. And then I'm trying to think. There was an overhead press. That's it. Overhead press. And dude, my triceps have just gotten... They started out a tiny bit sore, and they've just gotten nothing but more sore throughout the day. So it's been a bit of a tiny bit of a beatdown. But that's all right. I know it's going to suck for like 2 weeks, and then my body's going to adjust to it. Because every time I've had to start and stop my workout routine, it's a 2-week ramp-up period. All right, I wanted to check something in Mirror. So we redeployed the lab here. Blocked! What's up, man? Hack the planet. Let's see here. So, what we did, just to take a quick peek at it here. So what we did is we defined this inventory file for Ansible. Right. So what it has is, it basically has a list of all the hosts and what domain they're going to be joined to and like dictionary keys, all this other information that the Ansible playbook is going to need to go through it. Right. But I don't know, actually, WS01 was a last-minute addition. I need to go see if that one actually got configured. I wanted there to be an additional workstation host, so we could use it kind of like what happened on the in the RTO, where you got like a Bastion host in there. Yellow. Is that like yellow or like yellow? Yellow? That's a really excited yellow. Doing all right, man. So after I had my consult with my doctor, I hadn't been working out because I was concerned I wasn't getting enough sleep to recover properly. Well, looking at my labs, he said, hey, everything's looking fine. So I'm like, all right, I got no excuses now. I'm going to start working out again. So I did that yesterday, did that today, and it just whooped my ass. So working on, I guess Y and HR right next to each other on the keyboard. So I just got to suck it up for like 2 weeks, then I'll be back in the groove and it won't suck so bad. Alright, so this workstation here. Actually, if I had been able to do this, I would have rather preferred this workstation to be down here on the North Seven Kingdoms. But you know what? It's fine. We can kind of mess with this a little bit. So let's go see if this workstation 01 here actually did get configured. I just noticed it's cutting off a little bit of the screen. There we go. But now the edges of reality repeat. There we go. So let's go pull up workstation 01 real quick. I checked some of the other machines, like here for DCO1. Right, if we go to the console for it. Hostname King's Landing. Login domain 7 Kingdoms. So it actually did get set up on the correct Active Directory. So this should have ADUC on it. Yeah, see, now it's got all the Active Directory tools that I couldn't find the other time. Sweet. I've been so looking forward to just messing with and testing out this lab, because this is going to form the basis of some other stuff we want to do by exploring other tools, right? Yeah, so stuff's actually in here now. Nice. Nice. Very nice. No computers, but there should be something in the servers. Users. What do I have for users? Yeah, so we've got users in here. Awesome. Clonable domain controllers? What? That's interesting. So there's going to be all sorts of weird stuff we're going to be able to go dig through and mess with in here. But this is not the actual one I wanted to check on. I wanted to check on Workstation 01. So I don't know if this computer actually got joined to the domain, but that wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing, because what we could do is we could go cheat a little bit. We could use some user credentials and we could go join this to, which was 7 Kingdoms, or crap, what was it? It's in here just a second ago. Yeah, north.7kingdoms.local. That's where I wanted the workstation to live. I wanted it to hang out down there, because this is the subdomain, so that we could do the same things we did, like jumping domains. This one actually, it looks like the most logical entry point into the network. So, in fact, eventually, once I figure out kind of how this is working, and we can write a couple of custom Ansible playbooks for this, we could actually add like a workstation 2, 3 in here, and have a workstation in each of these domains. So we could choose an arbitrary entry point wherever we wanted. All right, so let's do something. There was also something else we were going to do. I set up a different Kali testing box here. This one is designed to be persistent. So what that means is it's going to actually not be accessible from... it's not going to be controlled by Ludus. We're going to control it, and that way we can have it be persistent, right? We can sit there and mess with it and have it just whatever tools we want. If we blow away the range, it won't kill the Kali box, and we don't have to go redo all that. Because last time, all that stuff we did, when I had to blow away the range to get it to reconfigure with Ansible, it killed all that stuff. So that was a bit of a bummer, but that's all right. We're still in learning mode, messing with this. let's see. So this, I see this one prefixed with Blaze. That's part of the thing. So I made another one called testing. Now, what network is this on? I need to check something here. Actually, I think I know where the issue is. So I need to get this testing VM. I need this IP address to calm down. If I disable networking, what's that do? I missed the old interface, but got to learn the new interface. Okay, so it's still got an IP address here. It's saying it's still up. Edit connections. Let's see. So we need to match this up to an interface on this guy. So if we do an IF big or IPADDR. There we go. So we have a whole butt ton of interfaces in here. There we go. So I think I linked it to the wrong interface in here. VMBR1000 is on this. I think I need to link this to ENO1. So let's go adjust that real quick. So we're going to take this box right here. We're going to come to hardware, networking. We're going to edit this. And okay, so we only have these 3 bridges. So we'll need to go make a new bridge here is what we'll need. So, not a problem. What we'll do is we'll go up to this guy and go to network. Yeah, see, this is in a different network. I need it to be in this 192.168 network here. So what we'll do is we'll just create a new bridge. And I'm going to call this VMBR0. This is going to be the... Yeah, that'll be fine. And so it doesn't need an IP address. Bridge port. Oh, dang it, I'm trying to remember how to do this. I want... there's a way to get this to bridge to the local network. So because this system right here, we need it to be able to be network reachable so we can connect into it and then have it WireGuard into the rest of the network. So this is not what we want to do. We want to... shit. I'm trying to remember how to do this in Proxmox. Let's go look. Proxmox, bridge to local... I think this is what we want. So I'm trying to create a new... I'm trying to use Proxmox to get an IPv4 address and bridge ports. It's not created by the Linux bridge. I'm trying to give VMBR0 a different IP address. That makes sense. Where can we adjust this in Proxmox? I feel like I should know this, but it has been a while since I tinkered with Proxmox. Only been about a year. Because we should be able to, if I remember correctly, create a Linux bridge. What the hell? What is a bond network? Naming conventions, let's see. You can configure VLAN 802.1q and network bonding, link aggregation. Okay, so that's a link ag. We don't want that. What that does is it takes multiple network connections, combines them together. So if like one of the cables gets lost, it's not a big deal. And also you have more throughput because all 3 of those interfaces act as one bundle. So Separate list of interfaces, for example. Oh, okay, so we have to enter this here. ENO1. That should be it. I think that's all we need to supply. I don't think we even need to give it IPv4 here. Great. Ah, damn it. We don't have permission to that. We have to log in as the root user. Log out. Here. So we had to log out as our Ludus user, and we had to log in as the root user. So this, I'm going to try this. ENO. Killing me, Smalls. Damn it, how did I do this before? This is killing me. Because I had my entire home infrastructure running on Proxmox at one point, so I feel like I should know this. Let's say dot. Dot. Maybe? Oh, let me try something. Check something real fast here. Add that. So I gotta figure out how to set up a bridge here, because there's something I'm missing about this. Because I don't want it to have its own network, right? Because here's the scenario we're looking at. Roll this out. Did I even set up the iPad? No, I didn't. Yeah, let me bring up the iPad because I want to show y'all what I'm kind of taking a look at here. It didn't time out. Come on. There we go. Okay, so if I bring this down here, give it a little bit of stretch poo. Okay. So here's the scenario, right? What we want to do is be able to connect from the home network, which is like 192.168.10/24. So that's, let's just call that this network right here. That's home. Well then, inside of home, we have Proxmox running. And so this is running on .7 of that range. But what I need is, if I create a bridge, what it's doing is it's wanting to create something with a different network, like, let's say 192.168.2.0/24. Well, the problem is, everything in this network is not configured to use it to reach anything over here without having to add like a route to it. It's going to send everything up to the default gateway, which goes out to the internet. it's not gonna know how to reach over here. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do we go set up the networking in Ludus or Proxmox to be able to make this work? So I'm thinking we're going to try something here. We're going to see if we can just assign it a separate IP address here. So this will be VMDR. We're going to try 192.168.1.8/24. Got 1.1. And the bridge port, we're going to try this. We're going to say EN01. We're going to see if this works. And if we break it, that's going to be sad. Default gateway already exists on EN01. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. Let me think about this. So this guy's not bridged over to anything. Maybe, let me try something else. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Perhaps I just need to give it an IP address. 192.168.1.8/24. We'll leave off the default gateway, and we'll say bridge on EN01. Let's see. IP address can't be set on interface if bridged in. Damn it. Well, this is rude. All right, let's go look at this Kali configuration. So the only thing we can do is we can set it to a particular bridge, which is, we got these three options. These are all Ludus managed interfaces, and then there's VMBR 1000 right here. Hang on, guys, be right back. All right, I'm back. Hey, Caffeine, what's up? Euler, how's it going, man? Welcome in. So we're fighting a little bit of networking on Proxmox real fast. Trying to make sure I understand exactly what it's doing. Let's see. Ludus forward to port to VM. Maybe that's what we need to do. Not Ludus. Damn it! I meant to search for. Forward port to VM. Here we go. Maybe that's all we need to do right there. Lost power for about 10 minutes today. Hey, at least it was only 10 minutes, man. They were probably doing line cleanup. So the place we're supposed to go stay, we still don't have confirmation if it's going to have power. I'll be really pissed if I get down there and there's no power. Let's see. Okay, so this is them doing IP tables. But I don't want to do an IP table. Surely there's something inside of Proxmox where we can do this, where we don't have to resort to IP tables. We're leaving on Saturday. Bright and early. It's a 6-hour drive to the coast. Okay, Proxmox, bridge network to home. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see, so a Linux bridge interface, commonly called a VMBRX, is needed to connect guests to the underlying physical network. It be thought of as a virtual switch, which the guest and physical interfaces are connected to. The selection provides some examples on how to do this. So bond, VLANs, routed, and net. Hey, big doggy. So we are working with a tool called Ludus, and we're using Ludus to deploy the Game of Active Directory lab. So this is like our pre-alpha version of a home lab we're going to build out. And so we're using this as a basis just for testing and learning Ludus, which is essentially kind of a wrapper around Ansible and Terraform for Proxmox. Proxmox is like let's call it like an open source version of ESXi. So what we're doing right now is trying to figure out, and I've done this before, because I previously had a Proxmox server running my entire home infrastructure before I migrated it to a different server. And what I want to do is bring up the diagram. What I want to do is here in our home network, it's like 192.168.1.0. I need something in here. There's got to be some way that I can have certain virtual machines bridge to the home network and go reach the DHCP server and be able to use this regular default gateway. That way my PC, which is over here, will be able to connect over into the testing virtual machine I've got set up over here. There's one already in the Proxmox server, but I don't want to use that one. So there's this one right here. There's a built-in Kali machine in the network, in the whole range, as they call it, when we deployed it. That's kind of an ephemeral machine, though. If I blow the range away, that machine goes out with it. So I set up one off to the side, its own special little box, and I wanted to use that one so we could have it be more persistent. Yeah, using the Heartbound OST. Hey, you know what Pirate Software said? If you, I think he said as long as you buy it on Steam, you can reuse it for streaming. So I'm like, dude, video game music makes great background music. It's like salt. It just enhances the flavor. It doesn't like dominate. So what we're doing right now is just tinkering around with Proxmox. Eventually, we're going to build out a pretty sick little home lab geared around being able to test different toolkits. Eventually, what I'd like to have is be able to come over into Ludus. Let's see. It did 0. There we go. Like here's an example of the deployment. Just it's running Ansible up here. We had already deployed the ranges with a YAML config. But eventually, what I'd like to have is learn how to use the Ansible portion a little bit better, so I can come in and have like an EDR testing lab, but basically like antivirus. So we could have like a test machine, maybe 1 or 2 servers, and a buttload of hosts, and then be able to, like, anytime we wanted to spin up a new virtual machine that has a different antivirus on it. See, I thought about using VMware Workstation Pro, except it comes with some gotchas. If there's ever a time on this system here that I want, not the server, but like on my actual computer where I'm running this, that I wanted to be able to use WSL, the last time I tried to do that, WSL, because it requires Hyper-V, WSL2 does, those two conflicted like there was no tomorrow. It was nuts. So I'm hoping we can use this entire system here, and then it'll make things super easily deployable. Because also, it's possible to set up Ludus in like a cloud environment. So if I wanted to host like a capture the flag type setup for folks in the community, we could do that. We could totally come in and... Why is this so slow? We could totally set that up. I could get people user credentials. I could send it to them. And then we could do like a community capture the flag on a custom network that I build out. Are you using WSL2? Hit me up on the EDR stuff. Bro, I will. I will keep you situationally apprised, sir. Again, apologies for starting the stream late. My new workout schedule really whooped my ass today, and then that just delayed everything else in the day. So kids didn't even get to bed till later than they were supposed to, and it was just I know I just got to suck it up for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll be reacclimated. That's what always happens. I'll be good. Oh, you're trying to set up Windows on VMware? Oh, that should be, fairly straightforward, especially if you got VMware up and running. What happens a lot of times, though, a lot of folks don't realize this. Whenever you're running WSL, what actually happens is your computer, rather than running Windows, what happens is it actually runs everything in Hyper-V. And then Windows just becomes one chunk of that. And then you actually start running a Linux kernel down here to run all of the WSL stuff. That's where it gets that. So WSL is kind of like a really advanced version of Docker, but it has some weird kinks to it. And so this Hyper-V portion here, this is what was always messing up Workstation, because you got to think now you're using Workstation on top of Windows. So it's getting double hypervised, right? Because you're going to have the hypervisor in Windows and then the Hyper-V hypervisor. If your Linux environment ran fine, then that might just be you're running into other configuration issues. But this was the issue I kept running into. Is every time I try to use WSL2, it just shat itself. Particularly around Credential Guard. A bridge is like a physical switch from my understanding, creating a bridge for most purposes to get exclusive use of a physical interface, so you may not be able to configure one over the network after it's set up. The Ethernet interface has no IP or MAC, and the bridge has both. Okay. So you know what that might mean? Damn. Hang on. 1 sec. Okay, so I had to double check. This server only has one network interface, so that could be a problem. Because if that's the case, big doggy, I'm a little rusty on Proxmox. I haven't really used it in about a year. We're diving back into it. If that's the case, I would need a second interface to kind of be able to do that, because the way it's configured right now, if we look at our networking setup, actually it's here, network. So we've got ENO1. This is our network device that's connected to the home network right here. We've also got VMBR 1000, but it's not bridged to anything. So, I mean, we could try bridging this to... well, so this is 192.0.2.254. The testing machine, I'm going to reboot it actually because it's been up for a long time. But it was getting an IP address in that same range, 192.0.2/24. So let's reboot this guy real fast. Let's see if I can find a near native performance environment. That's really hard on a type 2 hypervisor. Caffeine, you usually have to go to a type 1, like ESXi or Proxmox. Proxmox actually does a really good job. I like it. It makes doing, what is it, PCI pass-through also a little easier. So if you're running it on a system that has a graphics card, then you can easily pass that through. So there's actually a way in Ludus to emulate IoT devices. Let me pull that up. So I was just reading on it. Ludus embedded systems. See if I have it in here. I know I've got it in here somewhere. Let me see. Dang it, where was it? There was a cool thing in here that you could do with it. Phone Hub, Elastic Security. Dang it, where was that? You know, maybe I should read through the networking documentation here. Oh, very cool, Euler. That's awesome. So Proxmox is actually using, what is it using? Is it using QEMU? It can use QEMU. It's using KVM. That's what it's using. So Proxmox is using KVM, but I believe you can get it to run QEMU to do that. Dang it, where was that? Hang on, I know I saw that link. Maybe it was on the Ludus Discord. Environment guide? Maybe this is it? Where the heck did I see that? It's killing me. We check out Proxmox then. I was reserving ESXi or Proxmox for my Raspberry Pi. Yeah, dude, give it a try. Actually, if I was running a Raspberry Pi, I'd be running probably something more like Docker on it. It's a little bit less overhead. I guess depending on the Pi, because the Pis are starting to get a little bit beefy. But Proxmox is basically just layered over Debian 12. So the install process for Ludus is very straightforward. You start with the Debian 12 base install, you download the Ludus server executable, and then you run it, and it actually creates all the Proxmox stuff and configures it for you. Oh, Mr. Moneybags. I can't find... I gave up looking for the Raspberry Pis because they were just selling out everywhere. So I actually have a Turing Pi sitting on my work desk in the other room that I still need to go set up because I got that for messing with some ARM exploitation stuff. Dang it, where did I see that? It wasn't Phone Hub. It's a system called Emux. That's what it is. Ludus Emux. Here we go. I believe this was the one I saw because it's a purple link. That's how I know. There we are. Check this out. Let me drop this in the chat for everybody. Hey, Perniga, what's up? So this is how to create an Emux environment inside of Ludus. So you can do a lot of those various configurations. So here's some of the devices it's got. Damn vulnerable MIPS router, uh, Trivision, Tenda, Archer, D-Link stuff. So you can actually run this inside of Ludus and be able to tinker with these devices. So a lot of fun. Ebooks. All right, so let me before I get too crazy, calm down. RTFM, the networking docs here. Okay, so Ludus uses this to define a test network to hopefully avoid IP conflicts with the network Ludus is deploying into. Okay. The WireGuard interface 198.51.2 is set up during Ludus install. The Ludus host is always 198.51.100.1. Users will be assigned a static IP address of the network starting at .2. So maybe what we'll need to do... Let me think about this. Okay, so there's a single default network for VMs created during install. It's on 192.0.20/24. That's VMBR 1000. So VM bridge number 1000. This network has DHCP and DNS thanks to DNS mask. This server's router is set to 254 and offers DHCP in the ranges of .50 to .100. So this DHCP pool is used for template creation. Reserving IPs in the NATed network. So if the Nexus cache server was created by a Ludus admin, it has a static IP of 22. Let's see. Okay. So if the Ludus admin set up a CI/CD network, that's going to be here. All right, user networks. Man, how did I do this? It's going to drive me crazy. Because I had servers running on this Proxmox server in the past, and it was serving up shit in my house. I was like, what did I do? That was so long ago I configured it. Because I stopped using the Proxmox server probably about a year and a half, maybe as long as 2 years ago. And so, and plus, once the configuration was up, I didn't really mess with it. There's testing mode. Let's see. Doing packet capture. There's so much fun stuff in this tool. But usually what I prefer to do is I prefer to FAFO and then go read the docs when I hit a roadblock. You and your damn libvirt. No, actually, I got a proper NAS set up, and that NAS could host all the stuff and back up all my files. So, because essentially that's kind of what this old Dell was it was kind of like a NAS and a home server. I actually got a proper NAS, and now it's running. So that's why this has those 4 2-terabyte drives in a RAID 0, because it's just a testing machine. And actually, I do have plan on having it back up to the NAS. So if I need to do a restore, I will be able to. Walkwe.com? Let's go check that out. Simulated with Walkwe Online. Ooh. You can use Rust or MicroPython. ESP32 NTP clock. Okay, I'm curious. This is hella cool. What's this? Is he using WASM to do the simulation? That's pretty cool. Because actually right here where the camera is, I thought about having a small display with some stats on it running on an ESP32. I thought that'd be a good excuse to learn ESP32. Yeah, it's such a hella flexible board, man. You can do so much with it. That's awesome. ESP32 joke machine? Okay. I'm game. Let's do it. Got an IP. I have a joke about Stack Overflow, but you would say it's a duplicate. It's a duplicate. Shut up, baby. I know it. Loading joke. Why is 6 afraid of 7 in hexadecimal Canada? Because 7, 8, 9, A. God. That's so bad. 7, 8, 9, A. Hang on one second, guys.
Incoming transmission from E_Whaler.
Alright. I had to go help the wife for a second. That's really awesome. I love this. This is so great. So how does it define the... I'm going to go off on a rabbit hole, aren't I? Okay, so you can define the SSID and a password for it, and it'll connect to it. That's cool. I like this. So, I'm curious how you do this. Okay, so is the diagram? Oh, cool. So you define the diagram here as like a as a JSON object. Wowski button 1 labeled new joke. That is so cool. So ID is button 1. STM32. See, I like messing with ARM, but I don't know how deep I want to go into ARM. I like it, and plus I'd like to learn more about it, especially since my work laptop is an one of the M series Macs. But really, I feel like both a power and a simple user on the Mac, because I do a lot of stuff on it, but at the same time, I also don't like get real deep into the guts of it. Going into hardware. I like hardware a lot, but man, it's definitely not my forte. I enjoy like doing stuff like this. I am going to learn more about it because I want to do this kind of stuff with my son. My older son is 5. He's going to be 6 soon. And so teaching him about this kind of stuff, it just sounds like such a fun time, especially something like this where you can just have it give you a joke, you know? Yeah, eventually we will dive down into assembly, Caffeine. So one of the objectives of building out the home lab was to be able to have a malware testing station. So we'd have a developer system, we'd have some testing systems where we could go deploy an EDR to it and test different bypasses. And I thought about maybe doing it in Zig, but after doing some research today, I don't know if I want to try and rewrite all the malware that's in C and Zig. I don't know if I want to try that or not. Especially since I didn't see it, but I don't know if there's a Zig standard Windows library. Like something for interacting with all of the low-level APIs and stuff. Actually, there was, yeah. I think it was here. There was another guy who did this. Zig Windows API. Yeah, Zig Win32. There was a guy who did actually go build out some of the stuff, and it's very up to date. So updated 2 weeks ago. Tried a NIM. Nah, NIM's already played out. NIM is depleted. It's already been done. I liked the idea of Zig. I was watching some videos today on it because I'm not on an active penetration test, so I was just doing some research today, and I just thought it might be fun. It's like a new way to learn a new language. I would prefer kind of to do it in Go, but Go makes hella chunky binaries. They're dummy thick. They're thicker than a McDonald's milkshake. So they don't want to do that in Go because the whole idea for your loader is you want to make it kind of small, right? Something that can be quickly like loaded. Even if, let's say, your loader to run your malware is tiny, something to kind of avoid detection, and you place it into a larger binary to avoid static scanning, that would be something. Let's look for the next exotic language. Yeah, it's all about C. Dude, after watching some of the stuff on Zig today and trying to kind of, I'm going to dig into it. No, I can't. I was going to start messing with it more tomorrow. Unfortunately, I got to go do some actual work, not just research work. So I got to go figure that out. One of my clients had a really odd result from their penetration test. I got to go track down how that became a thing. And so basically something like 100 IP addresses that don't even exist in the environment were returning data. So really weird. So I got to go ghost bust some IPs tomorrow. Yeah, everybody keeps wanting to do Rust, man, but I don't know if I want to go down the Rustation path. You know, I know eventually everything just evolves to crabs, right? But I don't know if I want to go down the Rustation path. Yeah, don't cross the streams. So if you, Caffeine, have you seen the Maldev Academy? This is a really cool site, folks. I'll drop a link to it for anybody who wants to take a look at it. But these guys have a really great course curriculum. It's super cool. It's all done in C. And yeah. So my thought was, I spoke with Mr. Docs. He said I could basically use the outline and the modules to do some of this stuff on stream. He just asked me not to use any of the code segments. So that is its own challenge right there. I'm trying to think about how to do that. So the options I could come up with was, hey, I just go bullet point what the course module is trying to explain, and then we use those bullet points to try to develop that code ourselves, or I use those bullet points to try and develop this in a new language and see what it does. Yeah, I love this site. I wish I had more time to kind of devote to it, but honestly, all of my professional development time happens on stream. So if it's something I can't stream, it gets put instantly further down the queue. Do it in C#. I would like it to be able to run on more than just Windows, you know? Actually, so I had an idea for something I wanted to do for Mythic C2. And this is all stuff we're going to be working on in the home lab, right? So I think it's... Where's the Mythic agents? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where it is. Oh, here it is. So Mythic agents. So there's a different GitHub account for the Mythic agents in here. This one's called AppFell. It's one of the ones in here. We look at the repositories, or actually, hold on. He has a list of like what are the commonly maintained ones. Apollo is very big. AppFell for macOS. Oh, okay, that's what that is. Let's see. A Bloodhound agent for Mythic. Interesting. So all these different versions of it in here, I wanted to mess with and tinker with, but there's none in here, I believe. There you go. Agent compatibility matrix. So if you look at like some of these support a ton of stuff in here, like what different C2 profiles they support, things like that. What is this one? That's AppFell. That's Apollo. Apollo is one of the big ones. So is Athena. I think Athena's one in C#. Yeah. And so what I was thinking about doing was, usually from what I've gathered, just talking to folks in the industry, there's two, I mean, aside from like the other paid C2s, typically the bulk of them are still using Cobalt Strike. Some of them are using Nighthawk. Some of them are using Brute Rattel. But the bulk are still using Cobalt Strike because that's what the bad guys use. And when you're doing adversary emulation, that's what you do. Although there was just that leak of an older version of Brute Rattel, so maybe people are going to start buying more Brute Rattel. But that's something I wanted to kind of mess with because usually the open source version, whenever they're going to do something open source, they first start with Mythic, and so I think it's kind of like Mythic, Sliver, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. So actually, I wanted to see about writing a different agent for Mythic because there currently is no DNS system in Mythic. So that's going to require more than just an agent architecture update, though, because I believe we're going to have to write a listener for it as well. So, yeah, here's Athena. So it's got most of these features to it. So it'd be fun to be able to go through and make like the first DNS agent for Mythic. Pickle wrapper. Poseidon, Merlin, Medusa, Leviathan, Hermes, Freya. What would I even call the DNS one? Service wrapper. Oh, dude, there's tons out there. I mean, there's even Rasta Mouse has one over in 0 Point Security. So this is the CI/CD course, but where is it? Courses. Waffle House, yeah. Waffle House is a different beast, man. Waffle House is one of the few places where you're burning calories while you're waiting for your food because you're constantly looking around, keeping the head on a swivel. I don't remember if he called it like offensive C# development. Oh yeah, C2 development in C#. So Rasta put out this course a little while ago. I've also got a bunch of the Sector 7 stuff. I just haven't reached out to the Sector 7 guys to see what they'd be comfortable with me using on stream. Rasta was hella nice and allowed me to show just the lab. That's all I wanted, was to be able to show the lab as we're doing things in the RTO. And it worked out fantastic. We had a great time doing that. Started that around February. I just passed it right before 4th of July. GoPro! The man, the myth, the legend. Guys, if y'all aren't following GoPro, he sometimes gets to stream during the day, but he's on a new contract and it's keeping him pretty busy. But he's doing fun stuff. By the way, how's the new contract you're working on doing, man? Teaching yourself Python at the moment? Sweet, man. So one of the reasons why I was considering doing Zig for malware development is because I know a good deal about a lot of languages, but I don't have... Sadly, the language I know the most depth on is JavaScript, because I wrote the web front end for Deimos C2. So I did nothing but JavaScript for like a solid year writing that front end, and I was not a web developer. I did not realize how much I was biting off and would have to chew whenever I agreed to do that. Because the other two guys that are working on it, they want to do all the back-end code and all the agents and all that stuff. Fuck no, I'm not a web dev guy. I'm a hacker through and through. But I agreed to do the web front end for Deimos. Yeah, I'm a penetration. So from any of my new folks came in, I've been a penetration tester for 6 years. I've been in IT for 14 years. I've been no kind of developer. I've been hacking computers since the 2nd grade and just been all around high-tech low-life for most of my life. I finally took until I got married for my wife to civilize me and I could be around polite company. Dude, the first programming language I used was BASIC. Not Visual Basic. BASIC. 10. Print hello. 20. Print, what is your name? Question mark. 30. Get input. Bam. Dude, I had a tiny little laptop that had a tiny ass LCD screen. and a full QWERTY keyboard. I was the coolest fucking kid on the planet, and I'm like making basic. Oh my god. I could never teach myself JavaScript, but all the companies want it. Dude, I don't even advertise that I know JavaScript. I have skills and knowledge that I don't advertise because I never want to have to do it again. Although the JavaScript stuff was very handy for when I was doing a lot of web app pen testing, which I hate also. But you know what? Gotta keep disciplined and strong. So this is really cool. Hold on, I gotta go drop this in the Discord real quick because this shit is awesome. Thank you so much for showing that. Wait, what did I do in embedded systems? Topics, embedded systems. There we go. Web app bug bounties pay the bills, so I've heard. They can, if you become very proficient and you have a strong automation platform for it. Like you automate kind of what you're doing. The guys that really pick up the most on that, they fall into the guys that actually like kind of make their living off of that. There's several things they have in common. Typically, they're not in the U.S. because the bounty versus cost of living is way skewed in the U.S., right? But typically what they're also doing is they're automating a lot of checks that are going through and analyzing things and having this automated triage so they can just check like the most important things, or they've got custom tools they've written to go find those things. Yeah, Big Doggy, hang on one second. I can give you pasting permissions. And yes, I am interested. I just get sidetracked easily. And that's kind of what if you notice, there's a hashtag for the stream called FAFO. If you don't know what that is, that stands for fuck around and find out. Because that's what we do. We're just doing it with technology instead of it getting into a street fight. We mess around. We did, in the Red Team Ops course, we did so many what I call side quests, where it's just like, hey, how far can we take this concept in Cobalt Strike? Or in the Windows Active Directory? Just go off on it. I see pay VBO, so I want to really the bug bounties to add to my resume. Bug bounties can be very good resume boosters, especially like even if you're just getting like reputation points for finding stuff. Getting eventually invited to like a private bug bounty can be hugely beneficial. All right, so I'm looking over this link you just sent, Big Doggy. Redact all the important stuff. Okay, cool. Well, also, I wanted to make sure you didn't have like a giant ASCII penis in there. Let's take a look here. So no DHCP.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Jujaco CS virus detected in the network.
Jujaco, what's up, man? Welcome in. Welcome. Got a new virus. I love it when new viruses pop into the network. I sent a Cookie Monster virus to fend it off. What's going on, man? What were you working on tonight? Let me see. Oh god, I'm inceptioning right now. Let's see. Oh, you're doing Twitch overlays? Hey, man. Switch overlays in JavaScript and C++. Dude, I should check out your stuff because I've been wanting to create overlays to work with StreamerBot. Oh, you haven't seen StreamerBot? Bro, check this out. Streamer.bot. It's just streamer.bot, and it is a super awesome tool. Integrates with Twitch and YouTube very well, and you can set up actions. It integrates into like your Stream Deck, OBS. That I understand because I work on a work Mac. We'll be able to copy the config to it. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, actually, that was something I thought about doing. Yeah, take care, man. It's kind of funny. All right, man, take care. That was funny. I've never popped into something because like I just wanted to see what he was doing, and he was still out. I'm like, oh, hey, man. That was funny. Yes, definitely specialize in networks in Windows and Linux systems. Less Linux than Windows, but I do like getting into a Linux system because a lot of people, they have the same kind of misconfiguration issues that Windows does. In fact, a lot of ways, Linux can be more vulnerable than Windows because you have so many different avenues to accomplish different tasks that you want to do. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, so Big Doggy, you had to set this up actually in the host OS. This is not something you normally would configure inside the Proxmox UI, right? That was killing me. So Caffeine, since you asked that, one of the things I wanted to add into the game of Active Directory lab here, let me bring this up. So this is the lab that's currently deployed on the server. And so it's got 5 Windows Active Directory boxes. We added a workstation. It's just kind of floating in here though. It's not joined to anything. And once we get access into this or start tinkering with it more, I actually wanted to expand on this and add a AD joined Linux server that maybe was like a web server. So you could do an external initial compromise of that and then pivot into the Active Directory. Proxmox UI can do it, but I sense a big but coming. Panda. It's a lot easier to mess up. Okay. God bless you, Panda. What are you sneezing for? Panda is my little hacking sidekick, Boston Terrier. Come here. There we go. This is Panda. That's her. She is a big old spaz, but she's also a sweetie. It really, actually, she looks like a sweetie. It hides her cold-blooded exterior because she killed 3 of my chickens in the backyard. That's a config from Nix's machine, so it's not even the same distro. You can do whatever you want to with the underlying OS because Proxmox really is just an overlay on top of Debian 12. Yeah, she's a cold-blooded killer, Scholar. Cold-blooded. One of those chickens, they were small chickens. They were not adults at all. About yay big. I only found feet. That was it. The entire chicken was gone. I just found feet left. I'm gonna move this over into the main window. Yeah. Like I said, she a cold-blooded killer. Let's see if we can go tinker with this a bit. Because the whole idea here is that for all my new folks who just came in, we have a Kali testing box. And that is, but this lives inside of what's called the range. This is the Game of Active Directory range in here. So when you pull up Ludus, you deploy a range, and then all those machines kind of live inside of a logical unit. And so this Kali box lives inside the range. The problem is I don't want to connect to that system. I want to connect to a different one here. So I think I might be able to do that if I connect to WireGuard. I might be able to do that. To practice using Mac. Actually, if you haven't seen it, it doesn't work, I mean, for some of the newer Mac versions, but there is what's it called? You can search for the term Hackintosh. And so it's people that have worked and they've created ways to get the Apple OS to boot on non-Apple hardware. So they call it making a Hackintosh. And that would be a good way to start practicing with that. And you can do it in VMs too. You can have a Hackintosh VM. No, I just realized, oh, you did say Mac OS, okay. I saw ISOs and I read that as iOS, like the iPhone operating system. Yeah, me neither. I thought Scholar, I never would have guessed it either. She was so sweet around the chickens because they live initially inside of a brooder. That's in the house, so it's temperature controlled until they get their adult feathers. Then they can regulate their temperature, and then I can put them out in the coop. And yeah, I thought she killed all 4 of them. I had 4 initially. One of them just disappeared. She showed up 3 days later on the backyard in the back porch. No idea where she was for those 3 days. She teleported into the nether realm and then rematerialized on the material plane. Yeah, my wife scoured the backyard, and we have very high fences in the backyard. So she was not getting over the fence. There's no holes under the fence. There was nowhere for her to go.
Goldie?
Yeah, I'm talking about Goldie. My wife knew exactly what I was discussing. That chicken earned a name because she survived. She got the gold medal, so I called her Goldie. I think because as far as I can see, using your config VPN may be better. Yeah, what I'm thinking here is we can test this out actually, because I have WireGuard on this system. My idea was we would actually pull up this Kali testing box here. And then what we would do is we would have WireGuard installed on this. We could make a direct connection to it. And basically, because I wanted this Kali outside of the lab, because I noticed that when we're routing things through the Debian router that is set up for all the ranges that I host, that the Blaze accounts creates, because they're grouped by each user can have a range basically. So this is Blaze's range right here. If I made like Blaze 2 would have a different range in here, and I believe a different router. So what would happen is this guy right here just does not have a lot of pass through to the internet. And so I needed something with unfettered access to the internet because we were having a hell of a time just getting decent wire speeds through this guy right here. No idea why. It's just running Debian 11, and it shouldn't need it to. Maybe no, it's got 2 gigs of memory. I don't get it. Let's set up our opposite. Coyotes couldn't have been a variable, I presume. Actually, there are some coyotes in the area. And I even saw a bobcat on my doorbell one time. So even this is bridged over to 0. Right here, I just noticed. This has 2 network interfaces. One that is bridged to net 0 and one that's bridged to net 1. What about Kali? Kali has just the one that's bridged to 1000. So let me go look at something real quick. Let's look at Ludus real fast here. Let's look at the on the operating system level. So we're connecting with WireGuard. And shit, what port is WireGuard? WireGuard port. 5182. So if we do actually I don't have sudo on this. We'll just up to root real quick because I know the root password. So clear that CD. Let's do a ss anopt. And what we'll do is we'll grep for the default WireGuard port, which is 51820. Really, nothing's coming back on that. Okay, hang on. Stand by. Let me pull up the WireGuard config real fast. Oh wait, doesn't WireGuard use UDP? Yeah, there we go. That's why. Because I was only looking for TCP ports. All right, so this is 51820, but it's not showing me what process is associated to it. Let me try something real quick here. I'm going to zoom out. I know y'all won't be able to read this. Apologize. Yeah, that's so weird because 51820 is not showing what it's running for root. Interesting. Like it's not showing what process is associated to that listening system. Hey Chris, what's up, dude? Welcome in. Well, right now we're sysadmining like boss. We're trying to figure out how we can set up a couple of these configurations in Ludus. Let's see. So if we look at the Debian router, the Debian router is configured here. So let's just get a console into this. It should be... I think it's root and password. Sure. Password. No, damn it. I know it's in the docs. Let's see. Configuration. So this is like an example of what a range config looks like in Ludus. It uses YAML. So you tell it like what's the VM name host, what template to use. And so this is essentially an abstraction like of Terraform. It just does an overlay of Terraform to do this. Yeah, you can't be a good hacker without understanding some sysadmin stuff. And dude, the best hackers I know, they go just read the documentation and then they know how to think about things in a, let's call it a malicious fashion. Where's the... Does this have the default? I know that somewhere in here there's a default password for the Debian. I don't think it has any kind of UI to it, though. I believe we have to go and configure it. Check in the quick start. Yeah, here's something cool. Like I said, once we get the ranges figured out, if I wanted to be able to expose it for like folks in the chat to be able to access, we've got options here. We could throw it up in Azure. We could throw it up in GCP. So we could throw it up in a couple of these different locations here and be able to tinker with it. Oh yeah, I've seen Killer Coda because have you guys ever seen Het Tanis, his stream? He pops in sometimes and he's really awesome. Scholar, you can ask any questions you want, but this is a total learning stream. This is a as I call it, a FAFO stream. And so we mess around, we learn stuff, and we just use that learning to kind of guide us towards an ultimate objective. But since we're done with RTO, we're basically on the open world quest, if you think about it. We're just going around finding all of our stuff. Yeah, Tanis is so cool, man. I thought about going through his Ansible course, and I might go through that if I get the time. Ludus was designed from the ground up to be easily installed and get used to cyber ranges up and running quickly. Every night I see heavy hitters struggling with this online. Yeah. Ludus is pretty easy, actually. So, especially Proxmox bare metal install, this is what we did. And so it works very well. Actually, you can even get it running on Intel NUCs. So you could run a small lab inside of a NUC. Shit, I don't have my NUC in here. It's in the other office. Yeah, and so that was the whole purpose of it, was that, hey, to have easily reproducible labs that you could work with. Yeah, it's a great tool. Cool, they even have instructions on Hyper-V. I think it's Bad Sector Labs. I think that's the guys that basically created this tool. Really smart guys there. Bunch of ex-DoD guys. Template. Let's see. So you can add a template, create your own templates. Local user password as okay, so let me go try that. Local user and password. Local user password. Router password. Ludus password. Let me guess the damn username. I got into this system too the other day, and I don't remember what the user was. Damn it. Let's see. Oh, okay, so this is something different. Let's see. Not what I was looking for. So it's using a sharing feature with a different account for each range. The main issue I'm running into is accessibility between each of those ranges to my dev/attack range. Okay. So my goal is to have a single Elastic server, Windows Dev, Ubuntu. So this guy's trying to do exactly kind of what we're doing. You can allow this, but it's manual for now. So what you have to do is, on the router, get access to it. What's the router password? My first whole week on VMware Workstation Pro was finger lock and clueless. Yeah, no kidding. Maybe that's why. Okay, you know what? I entirely could have missed it. Let's see. Let's go to the networking page here. Or you talking about the networking page in the docs? I bet that's what you meant. There's packet capture. I really like Proxmox. So one of the other cool things, Caffeine, that you can do is you can use LXC containers. And so... Oh, you know what? There's a network for WG0. Maybe that's kind of what I should be looking at. Natted network VMBR 1000. So I tell you what, let's go pop into Ludus and see if it's doing a port forward on that 51820 port. Because that has to be kind of what it's doing, because 51820 has to be listening on the router. That's where it's connecting everything through. So if that's the case, then what we could probably do is we could make another port forward to connect to our attacking system. Ludus does not have a UI. Yeah, so Chris, I know it's a lot to get, it's a whole lot to learn, right? Don't worry about trying to like capture every detail in your brain. What's going to happen is when you get exposed to information, your brain starts building new patterns for storing that information. So the exposure is very important because then it allows your brain to begin to figure out how to organize that data. So a lot of times it doesn't know how to organize it, so it just goes into the ether, right? Just disappears. But as you continually get exposed to it, your brain starts building those structures like, oh, okay, here's the bucket that goes in. Yeah, so I recommend folks like, because I get folks that are newbies and really advanced when they come in, and because we do a wide range of stuff in here, right? I like focusing on like a path, but do it in a way that's tinkering around and finding out. That's TAPO. That's our user networks. That's if we were using the CI/CD. Okay, so this is a single default network created for VMs using 192.0.20/24 interface on VMBR 1000. So this network has DHCP and DNS thanks to DNS mask running on the Ludus host. Okay. So this network router is at 254, offers DHCP ranges between .50 and .100. That pool is mostly used for template creation. Okay, so Ludus user routers are assigned a static IP in this network in their range plus 100. Their range number plus 100. Okay. So that's the last octet. Okay, so for example, their router would be like 192. If the range was number 2, it'd be 192.0.2.102 because that's their range number plus 100. So this is what limits Ludus to 153 concurrent users because each user will take one IP from the pool. Gotcha. Let's see. So Ludus sets up static route to the user /16 through the WAN interface, allowing Ansible and WireGuard clients to access the ranges. Okay. So maybe the solution here is that... Oh, no, I don't really like that solution. Let me read that again. Well, I mean, that's per server, Chris, right? So we're using our own server here. It's in my house. So if you had a Ludus range setup that it was hosting, it had to be pretty beefy to host 153 ranges. Yeah, so that's per server. So, I mean, it's a limitation on it, but, you know, it's also a matter of scaling because this was not meant to serve 1,000 people at a time. This is usually meant for security professionals developing labs and working. So even if you had a fairly large organization and this was installed on a beefy ass server or cloud server, then the chances of you hitting that 153 user limit is fairly slim. Let's say each user wanted to be able to have 3 ranges, right? Then you could have 51 people doing that. And so that's a fairly large offensive organization. Panda. So this is what limits Ludus to 153 IPs. Okay. Let me go check something else. It is a lot. It is a lot of fun, Chris. It does take a lot of work though. That's what a lot of people, they get hung up on the fun. They don't think about, hey, what's the work that's going to it. Now you and I have talked, so I know you have an understanding of that. The part that really kind of breaks my heart a bit is whenever folks come in and they're really excited about it, but then they don't want to do it, right? They don't want to put in the road work to get there. And it's a long road because it's a very competitive field too. So a lot of people think that if you see a thing that says, you know, hey, we need X number 100,000 cybersecurity professionals, they all think they're offensive, but probably only about 1% of those are on the offensive side. The other 99% are in the blue team and GRC side and engineering side. Yeah, they say I want the hacks, but don't want to work. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's think about this. So we have VMBR 1000. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it. Dude, that's half the battle is fucking showing up, man. Trying to think. Wish I could remember what the hell the password was to the Debian router. Let's see. How do I want to attack this? I'm trying to think. I was wondering if we need to orchestrate logistical support. When he's thinking this hard, hacker support needs to come through the door with ice-cold energy drink and quietly exit, closing the door behind them. Now, what's so funny is my wife is works in forensics, and it was funny because we always joked around because it was 100%, I think, except for one guy, it was all women in her course. So whenever they'd have like a class get together, it was kind of funny because me and the other husbands, we were joking around like, yeah, we're forensic support, like hero support from Sky High. That was our running gag, forensic support. Yeah, pretty much. And so we're setting this up so it lives in a nice isolated environment, and also because we can use the orchestration to make it run better. So the key here is we're doing something off script, and that is we've created our own machine here. It's connected to VMBR 1000. And so let me check something on WireGuard. So allowed IPs address are 198.51.100. So what is that? Now so the kicker here is I don't want to run WireGuard on my host to be able to connect to this Kali. I want to be able to connect directly to it. So let's go make a note here. Where is our Kali testing? IP ADDR. All right, so we're running as... That is not what I wanted. This is our testing Kali, right? It sure is. But yet we're inside the lab range. 10-3-10. Edit connections. ETH1. This should be getting an automatic DHCP. Instead, it's like it's using a static configuration. Let me see if I can blow this up for y'all to be able to see it a little bit better. It'll help a tiny bit. All right, so I think it's CD networking. I think it is a network manager. Let's see. Nope, I think it's actually in networking. Ah. There we go. So if it's going to be defined, it's going to be in here. Look at the interfaces design. Okay, so yeah, here's our static IP address set up right here. So 10.3.10.0 is an interface on our Debian 11 router right there. She does physical evidence forensics. I'm so glad she does not do digital forensics because those people have to see the worst of humanity. And so actually, when I told a couple of my friends that, because she didn't start her master's program until we got married. Like literally, we came back from our honeymoon, and the next day she started orientation. So, when I told my a bunch of my friends that she was going to be doing forensics, having known what I do, because I was working in IT, they thought digital forensics, and I got so many bug-eyed, concerned looks about that. I was like, it's not digital forensics. So the idea here, Doggy, is that what we'd have, and I do have a kind of map drawn up here a little bit. All right, so this is the home network right here. Here's the home network scope. Here's what's kind of living on Proxmox. This is what I was kind of shooting for, but I really don't want that, actually. Proxmox is living on .7 in this range. What I'd prefer to happen is have Callie, our testing Callie, come in and get like .8. And then we can connect directly to it, and then have Callie WireGuard into the network, because it would just make a lot more sense that way. So we have a direct connection to Callie. Callie has a WireGuard connection into the attack range. I tell you what, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab some water. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Yoink. Yeah, exactly. This is going to be 192.168.1.7 is the Proxmox server, and then 192.168.1.8 would be the Kali server, would be the Kali machine. So the VM's DHCP their server on the home network router. Yeah, that's the goal. Is that this guy right here will get a DHCP from the default gateway over here. But that's not what's happening. Right now, Kali is in set up in the range IP. Now this is because I cloned this Kali. But if I exit out of this, and if I do a DH client for ETH0, and then we do an IP address on this, wait, we have two different IP addresses in here. See, now we got 192.0.2.88 also listening on here. So that 192.0 network is basically the routed network for the Debian router. Yeah, exactly. That just means have the interface go and get an IP address from DHCP. That's exactly what that means. And so this makes sense because it's getting it in this 0.2.88 range. Because remember, the Debian 11 router is set up to DHCP between .50 and .100 on this last octet here. So yeah, but Big Doggy, the goal is to have this VM DHCP to the home router. Have it actually exist in the home network. That's the end goal here. Let's see. I've looked in here 20 times. Dude, networking is not super difficult. Understanding how to set up the networks is the real challenge. Mostly for routing, it's just understanding what's the difference between like, hey, here's a MAC address, where's that operating? What's an IP address, where's that operating? What's a port protocol combo for layer 4, where's that operating? Stuff like that. I did a lot of, my initial foray into proper IT was in Cisco, so. Yeah, Big Doggy, hang on one second. Use GNS3 if you want actual networking practice. Dude, I had such a pain in the ass time getting GNS3 set up. I don't know what was going on with it. Oh, that took me to the wrong thing in here. Yeah, I guess I do need to go. I was looking at that page, but let's go give it a little bit more loving and read through here. So choosing a network configuration. Let's try this part. So the server in a private LAN using an external gateway to reach the internet. So the bridged model makes the most sense in this case, and this is also the default mode for a new installation. So this may not be the default mode for a Ludus installation. So we got to double check some stuff here. Each of your guest systems will have a virtual interface attached to a Proxmox bridge. This is similar effect to having the guest network card directly connected to a new switch on your LAN. Okay, this is what I was shooting for right here. So the Proxmox VE server at hosting provider with a public IP ranges for guests. All right, let's do. So maybe this is kind of what we'll need to do. Perhaps what we'll need to do is this. We can give this a shot. Shit, where is it? Here we go. So maybe what we'll need to do is we'll need to just define this. This is going to be this out. This is going to be VM BR 1000. And then what we'll have is .8 the I don't know why I keep writing W's here. This will be VM BR0, and then Kali can be .9 in the background there, because this will allow it to connect over. Maybe that will work. All right, Chris, man, have a good night, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Always happy to see you and pop into chat. You don't think this setup will work, doggy? That's not how it works. Of course it's not, because that's the way I wanted it to work. Let's go look at the Etsy interfaces and how it's set up on the Ludus server. Look at the image on that page. All right, let's go look. So, because the reason I'm thinking that may work, I'm not sure, is because this IP address right here, the .7, is already bogarted by the Kali router, or by the Debian 11 router. So the user router, right? Because if we look inside Proxmox, here, you see how we have a Blaze router? So this is Blaze's the user Blaze, his range right here, and then this is the router for it. So this router is supposed to handle all of these connections right here, everything from 109 to 115. So this guy right here is currently sitting connected to VMBR 1000. Damn it, I wish I could get into this machine. Let me go look at something real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Let me look at something real quick. We look inside this config here. I don't think it had anything defined for the router. Yeah, it didn't. This just defines the actual machines that get deployed and basically connected to the router. So I think the answer to this is going to lie somewhere in the Kali docs. Actually, we were looking at the interface for this real quick. Let's see. Okay, so here it is for VMBR 1000. And look at this. The address space is right here for this. So they've got some IP tables kind of coming up in here. It's got some VLAN IDs. It is VLAN aware. Okay, so 1.7 is assigned to ENO1 right here. So bridge ports, none. Bridge STP off. Bridge is VLAN aware. Bridge vids. Back here. See, because this one, they're bridging it to ENO1 right here. So that would be different. So I'm wondering, shit, do I need a separate NIC? Which would suck because I believe this computer only has one physical network interface. let's see. So we have EN01. We've got ENPS7S0. I don't know if that's an actual network interface, though. Hold on. I didn't see another network down there. So actually, I do have a second NIC on this server. So now I'm curious, if I go set up a second NIC on here and I have it do a DHCP address, maybe I could get a second address and then be able to solve this. Maybe we can hack this issue. Hang on, I'm gonna find a network cable. Uh-oh. What is this connected to? Oh, it's good. It's not connected to anything. I'm out of switch ports over here. We should settle on VMware Pro or VirtualBox. Hey, nothing worth doing is easy. Wait, what is this going to? Is this even going to anything? Oh, yeah. Got my nice little teal network cable here. That's what I'm thinking, Doggy, is we'll set this one up. This interface here, this ENP-S70, might be usable as another bridge, and then we can connect that to the bridge. We'll be able to get direct access to all the machines in there. So anything connected to that bridge, we call that maybe when VMBR 0. And when we connect those to it, then we'll be able to do what we want here. So let me plug this in real fast. We'll see if we get a network connection. Get down, Panda. Hey, we got blinky lights. That's cool. Panda wants to jump on me every time I kneel down. She's like, hey, you're in my zone. I think it's show. And what was that link called? It was called ENP7S0. So it's currently down. So let me see if I can check the Proxmox U after it. Okay. Why are you gonna make me log back in? Let's see. Can we edit this? I'm gonna try this real quick. I'm gonna try 192.168.1.8. That's 24. Now we actually might get a conflict with this. We're gonna see. Wait. Okay. Wait. Don't say I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm just throwing science at the wall and see what sticks. We're in standby mode. I saw blinky lights down there. I thought about trying to get a DHCP address on it. Fortunately, I don't think it does DHCP on here. So we could, what I thought about doing at first was actually editing the interface config and setting this to iNet DHCP. Trial by fire. Dude, that's how I learned Linux. I jacked up so many Linux installs. It wasn't even funny. I think this is DHCP. I think that's how you have to change it. And then we gotta do systemctl restart. Yeah, that's how you're doing it now. Word. How dare you not list that out? Systemctl restart. Uh-oh. I shouldn't double tap that. Nope. It's networking dot service. That's what it is. Want to get into the free / open BSD environments. So Caffeine, if you see Dead Beef Monster in the chat here, talk to him because he was a 20-year Linux admin guru and loves every freaking thing OpenBSD and was like a Emacs and Perl and PHP kind of guy. So if you see him in chat, pick his brain because he's hella smart. All right, so now if we do, let's show the link here. This is showing that's down. Would have become proficient in Emacs. I'm happy for you. I did not want to learn Emacs. Oh, you know what I think we need to do here actually is, I think we have to do auto ENP 7S0 to tell it to automatically start that up. I think that's what I was missing. I think I just killed it and broke it. No? Okay. YMCA. Awesome. So it got a DHCP on the network. Hooray. Somebody was actually saying the other day that, hey, it's usually helpful for these things to have dual NICs. I'm like, it's fine. I've been running this one with one NIC and it's been good. Are there free cloud environments? Not really. You can do a lot of stuff with the AWS free tier. Just be careful with it because you can shoot yourself in the foot. I understand, man. This server I've had for a long time, and I've just slowly upgraded over time. It's a Dell Precision, so T7600. It's got 2 Xeons in it and 128 gigs of RAM. When I first got it, it had 1 Xeon and 32 gigs of RAM. So I have been slowly upgrading it. The next upgrade I do, I'm going to put another 128 in it. That'll max out the RAM on it. Especially if we start building out this like really badass home lab like I'm hoping. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. So now, back to the UI. All right, let's go back to the UI. So we edit this one. It doesn't have a default config in it. Okay, so let's try this. So I'm going to assign this one to .7. 192.168 dot, oh no, dot 8. Dot 7's the first interface. 192.168.1.1. Let's see, Nick 2. Okay, so maybe I can take this default gateway out and I can just have it. Okay, cool. So I can assign an IP address. I just can't assign it that default gateway. Then create a bridge. Call this VMBR0. And now, hold on. Let me go back to those docs you sent. Oh, actually, I think I've got this a little bit. What do you think? Because in this one, EN01, in this example, doesn't have an IP address. The interface comes up, but it doesn't actually have its own network stack. Or actually, it's set to manual here for some reason. Maybe that doesn't matter. But then actually in VMBR0 is where we had all the bridge info set up. So maybe what we're going to need to do is point this to ENSP7S whatever, and then have it handled that way without assigning the IP address to the physical NIC. I think I've got this a little bit backwards. Let me edit this. I'm going to take this out. Yeah, so let me go back out the config change I did in here. So this one, I don't believe I want the auto in. Yeah, so we don't want the auto of the physical, but we do want the auto for the VMBR, but that's going to be assigned there. So let me take this out. I'm going to delete that line. And then we're going to set this to manual. We'll X out of that. We'll restart the networking service again. And then we'll just double check that it dropped its IP address. Cool, so it does not have an IP address. It's currently down, but we should be able to bridge to it. When the bridge becomes active, I think it will kick that interface online. So now, let's go create a bridge. And I believe I leave this... Actually, I think this will be .8 now. 192.168.1.8/. And I'm going to leave this off, I think. Bridge port, this is going to be ENPS, no, 7S0. Oh, oh, things are happening. Hold on to your butts. All right, cool. So we've got a thing here. I want to go see what the network change was in here. So this is still set to it. This is set for Nick 2. Oh, cool. Put the comment that I put it. I know you can't see it because it's blue on black, tears on a river, but it is. It actually did put our comment in here with it. So where's VMBR0? Hey, look at that. Nice. So how does that compare to what we had here? So they had spanning tree off. Spanning tree off, bridge port. So, okay, so they had IP address and gateway, but we're letting the gateway be handled already on the other one. I kind of want to test that, though, just for shits and giggles. If I edit this and I put in the default gateway, 168.1.1, I bet it's going to throw an error saying it's already assigned. Yeah, that's what I thought. So don't have to worry about that. X. All right, so now if we come assign Cali to VMBR0, and you know what I want to do? I want to actually come back here. Let's go edit this. Let's put a comment in it. This is the home network. Apply configuration. Just so it gets saved. And now Cali's in there. So now if we pop into our testing Cali, and what we'll do is we'll do DH client ETH0 with a sudo. And then IP ADDR show or ETH0. Awesome. All right, so let me do a little bit of tweaks over off screen real fast. So let me fix something here. So this could be Cali. Let me see. I'm looking at the IP addresses I've got allocated internally. And bye. I have 2 nicks. You don't even need to give the bridge an IP. All right, perfect. Well, I'm glad you made me look at that because I thought I only had 1 nick on this precision. I'm glad I checked that I had 2 there. Oh, crap, I need to go log into a different system. Let's see. Where's my... I think that should be fine. I'm not going to have any conflicts when I do this. And then... I can delete that. I don't need that anymore. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. All right, cool. You know, come to think of it, I wonder if I even needed to add this here, Big Doggy. Did I even need to give... Did VMBR0 actually even need an IP address to be able to do the pass-through? I want to try something here. I want to take that out, apply that config. It might be the... Yeah, I just realized that as I'm going through this. Like, wait, why waste an IP address? Yeah, I have plenty to spare, but I'm not wasteful. Okay, so let's do... Oh, wait. Sudo here. All right, so let's vim Etsy work interfaces. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjust this. We're gonna give it a different static IP in the home network. That's gonna be 168.1.8. You're gonna be 1.8 now. Gateway is gonna be 192.168.1.1 and 168.1.4. We'll do system CTL restart networking service. IP ADDR show ETH0. Awesome. All right, so do SS ANOPT Chasm is not listening. You should be listening. System CTL. Start. Did it not get the Chasm install? Yeah. Hang on, Big Dog. I got you. And I appreciate your help with this. And thinking through it. I'm glad I finally realized I had that second nick to make this easier. Like I said, so one of the downsides to systems that are kind of like Ludus is that sometimes it can abstract stuff out and it can make it more difficult to understand what's really going on in the back end. So this looks like we didn't get very far, but that's not true. We didn't get very far along the path, but we learned a shit ton about what's around the path, right? Ultimate test is ping google.com. Yeah, why not? We can do that. Actually, usually I use Yahoo from way back in the day. Hey, look at that. Because when I started doing pings and trying to look all awesome and like, hey guys, watch me, I'm a total elite hacker. I'm going to trace route. I'm going to find everything between me and Yahoo. That was back when Yahoo was kind of a thing. Now it's just kind of a ghost on the internet. I honestly don't know how Yahoo even makes money these days. Okay, so now what we need to do is... I thought we had Chasm VNC set up here. Let's do an app update. Now that is very slow. Why the fuck is it running so slow? Because this should be like directly connected. We should not be having... Yeah, so this is pretty much... I need to go bitch at my ISP because I should be having... I have a 1 gig synchronous link, and this is about what I get hardwired to my router. So... I think this is actually a... Because I have a custom DNS resolver in the house. I think that's why it's doing that. It's taking forever because these are not... These are not system, the like DNS entries that are cached in any kind of way. Apps. Upgrade. Let's go ahead and upgrade this Kali. Okay. Don't good girl. Shit. Well, this is running. I gotta go grab something real fast. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So we'll do an update on this real quick. And once we get this updated, we get Chasm installed, we'll do a snapshot of this. Or maybe I'll just snapshot it now because It's in a working config. Because there's a couple other things we need to kind of run in here. One is we need to set up WireGuard so we can connect into the attack range. And two, we need to set up Chasm VNC so we can get remote access to this system. Let's do an app search Chasm. Hey, there we go. Chasm VNC provides remote web-based. Perfect. So let's do apt install Chasm VNC server. It's already installed? Okay, then why the hell's it not running? System CTL status. Oh, there we go. Status is loaded and running. Did I do something stupid here? No, I don't think I did. There we go. Yeah, because Chasm should be listening here. But I don't see it listening. Chasm should be listening here on, I think, just port 80. Oh, it says it's loaded. Hold on. Let's go restart it. And then check the status of it. Hey, Caffeine, have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping in. Enjoyed your chat and stuff. Need to attach a second a second network interface Kali that connects to the attack range. I could do that. I was also thinking about just using WireGuard and letting it do the auto WireGuard connection with it. So I could do either one. I mean, that probably makes more sense, Doggy. The reason I was thinking use WireGuard is originally I was thinking this would be on something like VMware Workstation. But if we're already connected to that other network, now why is Chasm not showing up in here? Let me go ahead and try rebooting this system real quick. We'll see if it kind of chills out after we do that. So, since I started the stream late, we'll run the stream a little bit later tonight. I do need to get some sleep because so the whole reason I had been putting off working out was because I hadn't been getting a lot of sleep. But then as I was reading through some research, turns out that people that exercise regularly don't need as much sleep. So I'm going to be in this kind of shit transition period for about 2 weeks where I get back to like regular exercise, maybe as long as 3 weeks, depending on how badly I'm ill-adapted at the moment. And then I'll be able to get back in. The smaller amount of sleep I get will actually be enhanced by the exercise, ironically. So now, all right, let me go check something. It's our no VNC, which we didn't get access to. I want to check the actual range Kali machine. Kali. Yeah. Lift. Lift heavy things. Scaling. I'm going to do the same test I just did. So, pop this up. T. Yeah, so this has Chasm XVNC listing on 8444 right here. So why is that listening just fine, but it's not running on our other one? See, we're missing 8444 for some reason. System, CTL, status. Just gonna see what we're working on tonight. Hey, Doc G, what's up, man? So we're working on building out the home lab a little more, and basically tinkering around, learning some more about Ludus, because Ludus is the platform we're gonna use to build out the home lab. So we're kind of messing with it to see what we need to do to get it working. The Wawa girl, what's up? Thanks, welcome in. So we've got a, thankfully from the help from Big Doggy 101. We realized that if I ran a second network connection to my network switch, we could fix a lot of the networking issues we were having. Because ideally, what Ludus wants is, it wants all these machines that it deploys over to Proxmox to be in a logical unit. In this case, the logical unit has the prefix Blaze in it, because that's the username that I assigned it. Sounds cool, except I don't want to have to go through a WireGuard VPN to get to this machine. And also, this machine becomes kind of a temporary, because if I blow the lab away, the range, it goes with it. I don't want that. So instead, I created another one, which was a clone of this one, actually. And we've been customizing it, and then we're going to dual NIC it so it'll be able to connect into the range that we want it to. Unfortunately, the remote access interface, which is Chasm VNC, is not working for some reason. So I'm thinking we might have to go tinker with the config on it a teensy bit. Let's do something here. Let's get ourselves a root shell. And then what we'll do is we'll hop in here and we'll check. Don't give me that face, Doc. This is prerequisite fundamental knowledge we're going to need to be able to build out a badass home lab. You can't ignore the basics, the fundamentals. Running, blocking, and tackling. Okay, so let's go check that YAML file for Chasm VNC. Okay, that's useless. It's all freaking commented out. Less than helpful. Let's see. Let's just double check and make sure it's still not running. Hey, now it's running. Okay, cool. So after we did the reboot, it actually did come up. So now if we go to 192.168 in here, let me... Wait, what happened to my navigation board? You bastard. So, dude, this is this is a really cool tool. If you hadn't seen it, hang on, let me grab the. Actually, I think it's just ludus.cloud. And what it does is it just runs on top of Debian 12, and it installs Proxmox. It gets it all up and ready. You can define a range, which is like just a list of machines based off templates. So it kind of like abstracts out Terraform a bit. And then you can have Ansible scripts to go through and configure it. So the current lab we're running in here is this one, the Game of Active Directory lab. And they have a bunch of different environment guides, so like you can kind of see how to set up these kind of well-known ones. But this is the one we're currently running. Set up in here. Oh, there it goes. Just took the picture a second to load up. This is the lab that's currently deployed in there. So you have all these users, a bunch of different attack primitives. This is basically like damn vulnerable Active Directory is what this is. It's super cool. So what we're going to do is we're just using this right now to test Ludus. Not so much to test this, but to kind of get an idea of, hey, what can we do with this? How can we tinker with it? What can we do to mess with it? And then what we'll do is we'll start using maybe this as a baseline to start developing a bigger lab and start messing with it, tinkering around with it a bit. Because eventually what I just had the idea today, what would be really cool is you can actually deploy this. Where does it say deployment environments? Here we go. If we wanted to, we could maybe throw this up in Azure or GCP, and I could create user accounts for people in the community to be able to hop in, and we could do like a CTF style. I'm thinking about doing that. So if I can get to that point, that'll be really freaking cool. It'll take a while. Because what's going to happen, because I'm going to do some of it offline so people can't just see like, oh, hey, there's all the answers to do it, right? But I thought that would be really cool. Yeah, so that idea just occurred to me. So that's a bit ways down the line, but there's a lot of cool stuff I want to do inside here. Stuff like having Ansible scripts set up to run like different endpoint detections and antivirus, so we can have an AV testing lab. We can have a malware development range, stuff like that. Yeah, live CTF King of the Hill. I would really like to set something like that up. I just think it would be a lot of fun. So, one of the next things we're going to do is look at, after we kind of tinker with this a bit more, we're going to add another user. I'm probably going to blow away the Blaze user and actually create users with their names based on like what the role is. So we'll make like a Goad user or like a maybe like a environment user, and then like a testing user, something else in there. I'll think of a naming convention. And then what we can do is we're going to try testing deploying multiple ranges and letting those ranges talk to each other so they can act as like a cohesive network. Tyler, my man. Oh, dude, you're fine, man. Good to see you, though, dude. You know what? That's actually, I used your story to encourage some folks because they're probably looking at like his IT as second careers. I'm like saying, hey, man, it's not going to be easy. But I use you as an example. It's like, look at him. He was not even in IT, like, what, 6 years ago, I think is when you made the switch. And so I was like, and look where he's at right now. So does it take dedicated effort? Yeah. 3 years ago. That's even fucking better. That's awesome, dude. Took me a year and a half to become a pen tester. That's actually still really fast, man. You must have been a very fast study. Or maybe just have a little bit of a natural inclination to folks. Not to folks, but to like technology. I mean, because Omicron, that helps. But grit is really what sells it. Getting after it, working on stuff, getting your fingers in the bits and the bytes. So, yeah, so we actually just figured out how to do some of the networking. Oh, wait, let me do something real fast while I'm thinking about it. Hold on 1 sec. Stand by, y'all. Oh my god, why is my network running so dog slow all of a sudden? I think I need to upgrade the Raspberry Pi that's running Pi-hole. There we go. That is a thank you for all the help, Big Doggy. Yes, it is totally meant to be vulnerable. You can think of Goad. It's called that Game of Active Directory because it's themed after Game of Thrones. But think of this as damn vulnerable Active Directory. That's kind of what it is. Because, dude, I really appreciate it because you really helped me kind of think through this problem, and my Proxmox understanding was far rustier than I thought. Dude, check this. Go, Andrew, check out ludus.cloud, Luds, right here. And they've got all the information to deploy it. It's super simple. Basically, you install Debian 12, you download the Ludus server binary onto it, you run it, and it handles all the installation for you and gets you up and running. The documentation is pretty solid too. The guys in the Discord are fantastic. I have been bugging the crap out of them for questions on this. And so a lot of that was my preconceived notions having to get blown out of the water and understanding how they had done this. So, but yeah, so far I'm having a good time. We haven't even really gotten into hack the machine. The first time I deployed the lab, it was a failed deployment, and none of the machines actually had their Active Directory config. So I had to blow it away. And when that did that, it blew away this Kali box that exists as part of the range. So every user can deploy one range. So this is the Blaze user range in here. So I think what we're going to do next is maybe on... Actually, I don't know. This will have to be after vacation. Because I'm streaming tomorrow night with Salty. We're doing Try Hack Me. And then teaching my buddy Salty some of the basics of cybersecurity. So we do that by running through Try Hack Me, having a good time. But when we go through this, probably when I get back from vacation, I'm going to be on vacation next week in a fairly remote area, just got hit by a hurricane. So what little internet there was there, I think is going to be gone. I'm just hoping it has power because it's down on the Gulf Coast and it's 98% humidity all day, 24 hours a day. More time to soak up some rays. Yeah. I just wanted to have power. I just want to be able to get out of the humidity and get into the AC. Dude, Doc, I used VirtualBox for the long... Actually, I take that back. I used VirtualBox for a while, but then I actually switched to using VMware Player back in the day, and then was using VMware Workstation for a long time, because it just ran a little bit smoother. Now, I've had some issues with VMware Workstation recently, and by recently, I mean like 2 years ago. I haven't checked to see if they fixed it since then, but VMware Workstation and Hyper-V did not play well together, so you couldn't use VMware Workstation and WSL at the same time. In fact, I have a little diagram because we were discussing this earlier. So what happens when you deploy WSL2 is your Windows operating system is not your base operating system anymore. It gives all the appearances and it still has 99% of the performance, but you have Hyper-V actually as the base operating system. So you've got Hyper-V running your Windows install. And then Hyper-V also runs a little Linux kernel. That's how you get your WSL2. That's where it uses everything based in here. So when this happens, you're running VMware Workstation on top of Hyper-V, and it just throws an absolute bitch fit. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have WSL2 set up on this computer or VMware Workstation. I'm done with it. I even went to dedicated training. It was like a 2 or 3 day training on Hyper-V. And I got really stoked about it. And it couldn't do some very basic stuff. Like I would expect, like importing a damn OVA file. And I was like, okay, you are instantly done. Because if I can't go import OVAs to be able to use some of the already pre-configured systems, I'm gonna have to go build all this crap from scratch. And I'm not about that life. In this case, I'm making an exception because we're building it for special purpose, right? Isn't that crazy how bad VMware Workstation support for Intel processors is? Hey, Val, thanks for coming on. Welcome. Thank you for coming online. I need to go redo all the alerts because the alerts are currently split between StreamerBot. And this is such a cool tool. This tool right here, so like, I think I can do like actions, like what's happened and stuff. And some of them are like set up, but all the rest of them are like in Twitch. I want to migrate them all over. I don't know when I'm ever going to do that. So, I tell you what, let's do something. Oh, I know what we're going to do. I was trying to find out what happened to my navigation button. There's a navigate button over here, and it disappeared on me. Navigation. There it is. Thank you. So let me go... edit this. So this is not the correct IP address anymore. 92.168.1.8. My dot not working? There we go. So that should work. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll do Kali testing. That's what it's called that. Oh, no, another cool tool, Ghidra. Too bad I struggle to use it correctly. So actually, we did a little bit of Ghidra, just a very tiny bit of Ghidra Fu when we were going through the Red Team Ops course, because we were using it to identify where our Cobalt Strike beacons were getting identified by threat check. So getting flagged by Defender. And so what we do is we take our beacons, we go load them up in Ghidra, we look at the code and try and guess where it was affecting it in the beacon, and then go change the underlying C program so we could modify it. It was a lot of fun. We'll be doing more Ghidra in the future because we're going to be doing some malware development, and so we're going to have to get into some reversing as part of that, trying to understand certain things about what does our malware code look like versus what does our compiled malware code look like. I was trying to use it to deconstruct a video game on PS2. Oh, you're talking about what is this tool here? This is called Royal, like a crown, Royal TS. Very cool tool. I like it a lot. It makes handling multiple connections super simple. So they have a Windows and a Mac version. Royal TS is the Windows version. Royal TSX is the Mac version. And actually, I use both. I bought 2 licenses because work wouldn't pay for it. So I have a personal Royal TS license and I have a personal Royal TSX license just to use on my work laptop. And it's so nice, especially for handling SSH tunnels, which I had to do a lot of. So freaking nice. I think it's just TS. Yeah. Here, I'll drop this in chat for y'all. Did I get the sub to Maldev Academy? Yeah, I did. I went ahead and just shelled out for the lifetime access because those dudes, since I've had that lifetime access, which I think is about 1.5 years, I think they've dropped 12 updates since then. And I've talked to Mr. Docs. He's super cool also. I'm trying to like work out something where I can use some of the stuff from Maldev Academy in the stream. But we kind of have an idea, but I'm still going back and forth bouncing ideas off of him. Because I would like to use some of the ideas. He doesn't want me to use any of the code from the course, which I totally get. So I'm trying to figure out how to use the course without using the course. Like we did with RTO, right? We didn't show any of the RTO course material, but we did go through the RTO lab in there. So I can't just like have it off to the side and just be like typing it verbatim, right? How one processor and one core used to cope with operating systems and tasks. I have no idea, Crit, because back in the day, it was a smaller operating system too, right? It was kinder friendlier, tinier code. I remember the first computer I got, like first like big desktop computer I got, had a what did it have? It had a 1 gigabyte hard drive. 1 gigabyte. And I thought, I'm never going to fill this thing up. Ever. It's going to be great. This one right here, this is 256 gigabytes. This tiny thing has 256 times the storage capacity that my first computer had. Crazy. I gotta see if Royalty S will let me do an affiliate link because I'm gonna be using it a ton on here, and so people will probably be wanting it. It's really cool too. There's a one feature that is in the Windows. Actually, there's multiple features. The Windows and the Mac version don't have feature parity, but there's some features that are really nice in the Mac version that are not in the Windows version, and vice versa. One of those being, you see how I've got all these tabs open? This is actually a web browser connection up here for Proxmox. See that? This is just a web browser, and I've got multiple tabs open for these different VNC connections. Well, I tried doing that same thing in TSX, and it just hard crashed to desktop. It just totally died. So I sent them a feature notification about that. So let's see if we can get this to connect now. Look at that. So let's go pull up a terminal. Let's check, make sure we're on the correct box. So IP ADDR show ETH0. Yeah, boy. Awesome. 32 megabytes of memory, and I played game Dune on 386. Oh my gosh. I loved the old Dune real-time strategy game. And I forget what it was called. Maybe it was just called Dune, but you could play as the Atreides, the Harkonnen, the crap, what are they? The Sand People. I can't believe I forgot what the hell the name of the Sand People in Dune is. Wow, my nerd card's gonna get revoked. All right, let's do one more test here. So what we want to do is see if the Fremen. Oh my god. Poker, thank you so much. I felt like my IQ instantly dropped 10 points from not knowing that piece of information. The Fremen. How do you forget the Fremen? Tell me of the waters of your homeworld, Usul. Alright, so let's go add a second networking device on here. So the goal of using Ghidra on the game, I was trying to figure out how the RNG of the map making worked, because I found out in a game that, through testing the game, follows system clock or something similar. Okay, yeah. Dude, I love examining how RNG systems work. I abused the RNG system on World of Warcraft to, not really abused it, but because of how I understood it, I timed my attacks for my character, and I could just stack critical strikes. It was so ugly. It was wicked. And so my Retribution Paladin was quite frequently at the high end of the DPS calculate. Like, it would piss off the hunters, the rogues, the warriors so much that a Paladin was usually in the top 3 for DPS. And these are on big raids, right? And if I wasn't in the top 3, I was usually in the top 5. Let's see. Okay, so this is on VMBR 1003. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bridge this. I'm going to add a new network interface. We're going to connect it to 1003. And I think we need to assign it VLAN tag 10, I think. No firewall. I'm going to add that. I think that's correct. 1003 and 10. Yeah, 1003 and 10. Okay. So now let's pop back over into Kali, and let's check our IP addresses here. IP ADDR. Okay, so now we have a new ETH1 here. So let's see if we can see if we can get a DHCP address. It may not get one, and that's fine. What we'll have to do is just go find a blend. It's only using like 6 of the IPs in that range. We can just go pick one at random. I'll probably make it .69 or something stupid like that. Yeah, because this should have completed way faster than this, so I can already tell it's not. It's not doing it. Now, one of the downsides of what will happen here, and I don't know if there's a way to work around this, but if we look at the Goad map, what should happen is Kali should be just kind of hanging out in here. These are all in a continuous /24 network. They're just logically separated by Active Directory. So what we should be able to do is we should be able to pick up LLMNR requests so we can do things like use responder and use like NTLM relay X and things like that. However, it somehow is breaking up the broadcast domain, so we're not going to see those. Okay, so DHC, let's go look at it. Did it? Let's do show each one. Alright, so it did not get an IP address, which is fine. Not even concerned about that. My main goal is to build up enough data so I can optimize weapon building at certain stages in the game for speed running. But I kind of gave up using Keydrun. Instead, I'm using the math to interpolate the numbers I need anyway. I'll tell you a funny story about that. I was also able to find a debug menu someone created. Oh, nice! Badass. So I was working on an exploit for a system, and I understood kind of what was happening, but not in enough detail to understand the behavior I was seeing. And I found out that if I had payloads of different sizes, the amount of an offset I needed was different for this is a binary exploit to work. And so what I did was I did exactly what you were talking about. Is I gathered a bunch of data points and I sent payloads of different sizes, and I found out where I needed to actually point this thing to. And when I did that, I created a nice little linear function. And I realized what it was doing later is it was putting more data on the stack, so I had to basically pad out the stack more to be able to get the exploit to hit the correct return address. I didn't understand that kind of at the time when I was doing it. But yeah, sometimes you can just math it out, dude. Totally legit strategy. There's usually a reason for everything. That reason's typically physics and math. Okay, so let's go. Let's do Vim, Etsy. I think it's network interfaces. And so what we'll do is we will go add us a new interface in here. So we're going to do auto eth1. That'll automatically turn it on. Do iFace, eth1, inet static. And what we'll do is we'll do address. We'll give it a 10.3.10.69. Nice. /24. And then I gotta figure out what the gateway is. Hold on. Let me pop back into the actual Kali box, and I'll check the configuration here, and we'll just kind of duplicate it. So cat network, no, Etsy network interfaces. Okay, so this is running 10.3.10.99. That's right. 254 is the gateway. So we'll do gateway be 10.3.10.254, and then we'll do DNS name servers. I guess it would help if I spelled servers correctly. Servers 10.3.10.254 also. And then one thing I need to do is let me go ahead and write this change. Damn it. We disable mouse interactions. Copy that. So what I need to do is actually edit this with sudo. Paste selection. There we go. Let me see if there's a... Because what I want is... Actually, this should be fine. This shouldn't conflict here. Like don't. Because we're going to be connecting from 192.168.10/24. So it should default, the routing table should default to that. When, actually, I do want this to be a little bit different, because what I want is, I want this to be the default route. I want this to be a secondary route, because if I try to go out to the internet over this interface, it's going to be dog shit slow, because it's going to be going through the Debian 11 router. Dude, actually, have you seen Vim Tutor? Hang on. I wonder if it's on here. Yeah, it's on here. Check this out. So this is a command you can run. You can run it inside Kali. It's on most Linux systems. Vim Tutor. There we go. This is, you are currently inside Vim right here when you're running this. And you can go through and learn how to use all of them just from reading this page right here. So HJKL, right? I hit the wrong button, but yeah. HJKL, moving up and down right here. So I'm not using the arrow keys here. Real hackers use Notepad only for proof of concepts. Yeah, and MS Paint. So yeah, so this is pretty cool. I don't even actually use the HJKL. I still use the arrow keys, but the idea of Vim was to basically never have to take your hands off the keyboard. You could do everything without having to move your hands, just type. And so, but yeah, check out Vim Tutor. Hella cool tool. All right, so I need to set up something. Let's see. Ubuntu set interface as default route. I don't want to set the default gateway. I want to set the preferred route metric. You know what I could do? Actually, I could take out the gateway here. That would force this machine to never try to talk off the network out of 10.3.10. We could do that. So I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to take this line out. Actually, let me undo that. And what we'll do is we'll just comment that line out. There we go. And so we'll do sudo systemctl restart networking. Networking.service. It had a error code. So full of crap. Failed with the result exit code. Well, you're a lot of not help. I'm so used to Vim, I just tried to exit out of the terminal. Golly. You know what, Big Dog, it wouldn't surprise me if I did have bad spelling. No, I did spell it right. Yeah, DNS name servers, iFace, ETH1. Oh my god. Oh lord, save me from my own stupidity. Static. I see what you meant now, static. What, you never heard of the static interface? It sounds like a Klingon saying it. So the amount of info I found about this game is absolutely hilarious. I found out the devs of the game messed up really bad. So All the info pertaining to monster information, and it can't be trusted from the game or even online because it can be copied across multiple sources incorrectly, and no one bothered to check. So now I'm currently rebuilding a monster Excel document to show proper information. Oh, that'd be awesome, dude. I really like reverse engineering projects. I just don't ever devote any time to them. Because I know I'm not going to go into reverse engineering as a specialization in offensive security. I will do some of it, but it's all going to be geared towards having better red team offset. That's all it's going to be geared towards. Okay, so now I want to check about routing table. The IP route? Is that how we do this now? With the cool system D? Okay, cool. So let's do, I want to do a quick in-map scan. And we'll just do the top ports 100. And what we'll do is we'll scan the local. So 10.3.10.0/24. We don't have in-map installed. I forgot this is a very bare bones Kali install. Sudo app install nmap tab what? I've done a tiny bit of Unity reversing, but it was really just to pull out like game assets. I never usually recommend this, but I'm going to run this with T5 because I'm not going across any network links. Literally, all this scan is happening in RAM on this computer, if you think about it. I could ping first, or I could just scan stupid fast with T5. And actually, I don't know if these hosts respond to ICMP, because they do have firewalls. I mean, I could go try one real quick. That would actually make sense if you think about it, because we should have... Because there actually should be another one that says, hey, 10.3.10.0 is directly connected to ETH1. 10.3.10.2. Yeah, that's not coming back. Show ETH1. We did restart networking, right? Yeah, we restarted network. I don't know why I'm even going back after this. IP ADDR. Hey, there we go. Now if we do IP route. All right, there we go. Big dog ain't coming in clutch again. Earning that gifted sub. Your tech support was worth far more than the $5. All right, so now let's go try and ping the router. Which I'm not even sure if it responds to pings. Destination host unreachable. Sudo app install artping. So artping. What do we need to give it here? We need to give it the, I believe, the interface. Yep. So tac I ETH1 and the target, which would be 10.3.10.254. And we got to run that with sudo. Interesting. I think 10.3.10.10 is another one. I know 99 is, because 99 is one that we had in there. Hmm. Try something. This one is 99. Let me think about this. So it should be connected directly to it. So I'm wondering if this may be a firewall issue, like if there's like only specific hosts configured on this system. And I wish I could find the damn default password to it. Ludus router default. Oh, here we go. It's domain admin? Is that it? Try restarting, maybe check the interface settings in Proxmox. I'm going to see if this password actually works in here. Let's try domain admin. Password. Wait, that's the AD stuff. My bad. Yeah, it should be. Oh, it's admin and password? I swear I tried admin and password. Oh no, AdGuard is actually listing on port 3000 on there. That's what that's doing. So it's using AdGuard as the DNS server in here, but that's not the console password. In 11. Let's look at this in the templates here. All right, so the Ludus convention uses local user and password as the user account for templates unless there's a reason not to, like Kali. We tried root. Tried router. Trying to look through the Ludus docs real quick. Not seeing anything. It's not a super popular tool, and their documentation is usually pretty solid. I just have not seen where in it lists the router connection. So another option we could do is system D. Oh, it's IP link set name down. That's it. Okay, so IP link set each one. Yeah. So I want to try something dumb here. Let me see, how do we set up WireGuard here? Let me pull up the Ludus docs. I got those docs over here. So in the quick start guide, it even shows you how to do the WireGuard creation, or where to go for it. So let's just test that out real fast. Oh wait, we were doing another test. I got distracted here. What we're gonna do was go modify that to use 10.99. So I'm gonna comment that out. I'm gonna change this to 99. We'll write that, and then we'll restart the networking service. IP ADDR show ETH1. So it's now using 99. So now what if we do sudo art ping 54 10.3.10. Let's go double check, because I'm pretty sure I put this on the correct VLAN here. So here was the Kali testing box, right? Oh, which I never shut down. Oops. This guy was supposed to go offline. So that's part of the reason. Shut down. Close that. So here's our Blaze Kali, right? It's using bridge VMBR 1003 on tag 0. It's pretty straightforward. If we come over here, we're using bridge VMBR 1003 with tag 10. Wait, yeah, okay, so same tag. Let's go do something different. Let's go over to the DC. To PowerShell. Do a little ping 10.3.10.254. This will tell us at least if it responds to pings. Doesn't look like it does. So we got a destination host unreachable while it was doing the ARP, and now we're getting request timed out. I don't know if this actually has internet connectivity, because you can control that in the deployment config. You can say these hosts have internet connectivity and these ones don't. And it looks like it's failing out when it's trying to do that. So let's try something different here. Snippy Juice 007. Welcome online, man. Time to. Oh shit! It's after midnight. Let me think about this one. So one thing we could also do is we could go set up WireGuard on this guy. So we know that the NICs should be set up correctly. Over here in Proxmox, we can see this one right here. So this net 0 should match net 1 over here. And they mostly do, except for the MAC address is different. So we could try cloning the MAC address, just for schlitz and giggles. I doubt that's going to make a difference, but I'll give it a shot. And then what we'll do is we will... Let's see, so previously it was 8B28 here. So now it's 356B, so it did do it. Alright, let's go ahead and restart networking again. We'll see if we can get this connected out. Interesting that now it's not picking up the IP config. See that? Since we set the MAC address. That is very weird. Is the link still set to down? No, the link is up. State is set to up. Oh, very odd. Maybe it's a little bit different here. Maybe we actually do need to set the link back to up. Yeah, I think a reboot may be in order. Okay. Go reboot. There we go. Close that out. What we'll do is we'll just pull up the console for Callie and we'll just watch it on there. Should be rebooting. Okay, yeah, it is. We'll give it just a second to come back. So it should be back up now. Hey, now we're talking. Alright, so now, let's try that again. So, check the IP addresses. Hey, there we go. So now we've got it. It does have the 356B MAC address set to it. So cool. Looks like Callie doesn't quite like the hot swapping of the virtual hardware. That's fine. Let's do... So ARPing for it and they're timing out. What was that domain controller I was just on? DCO1. This guy is... Yeah, 10.3.10.10. I think I tried that one too. That's timing out. Tech. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this, but we're just gonna specify only port 45. Or 445. That should be a super fast scan. And we'll just see what happens here. It's probably going to be taking too long. Yeah, so ARP is still definitely screwed up in here. Do you think there used to be two processors, but what if these are the processors of the future, but instead of using a lamp, use color? Like by the wavelength, but reading the color with your eyes and transmitting it to the brain will not cause overheating and throttling if you build a processor in such an architecture. Is that the future? I mean, actually, I have a... it's in the other room, unless I go grab it. But I actually have a headset that I use. And it's designed to... it's called a brain tap. And this headset sits on your head, and it actually does have LEDs. It's got a visor that flips down. And so when you have those LEDs and you've got the music it's playing, it's specialized music designed to get your brain into different wave patterns and basically get used to moving into those different sections. It's very powerful because your brain doesn't really have a lot of barriers to it. So if you use just the music, the tool is effective for getting into different brainwave patterns. Alpha, beta, delta, gamma, theta, whatever brainwave pattern you're trying to get into or shift around to get a desired effect. Well, if you use the little visor, it works about twice as fast because it's pulsing in a way that has your optic nerve firing to get your brain into those brainwave patterns. So I don't know if you're going to get a lot of processing with it, but there is some precedent to what you're asking about. And actually, a lot of the future computers are not going to be digital. They're going to be analog. Because solving certain types of problems, like particularly mathematical problems, they could be done faster on an analog system than on a digital system. So there's an entire company based in Austin that their entire purpose is they're tricking transistors to work as analog systems. It's really neat. I don't fully understand it. I just remember I was watching something on YouTube about it. It was really cool. Panda. Panda, panda, panda. I know, you're hungry and ready for bed. All right, so I think this is our next task here that we're going to tackle probably when I get back from vacation is we'll try to sort out this networking a little bit more. Actually, I do want to try one more thing before we call it a night. Let's do the WireGuard setup on Linux. So we could either use the GUI client. Yeah, why not? Let's see. Where's it for Ubuntu? Actually, we should just be able to use the Ubuntu install. So sudo apt install WireGuard. WireGuard. That way. That way. Okay. Wire plumber? What the heck is that? I wonder what that is. So we installed WireGuard. Real easy. So what happens here is Ludus, you can actually get a WireGuard config per user, and it looks something like this. So we can go import that. Gotta figure out how to use it. Did it actually install? WirePlumber is the sound server session manager. Bro, you're coming in hot with the knowledge. I've never heard of WirePlumber, ever. That was the first time I've seen that tool. Is it? Okay, so that just installed the command line tools. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. So WireGuard quick, up, down, save, strip, config, interface. So the config file is the configuration file, whose file name is the interface name followed by .conf. Otherwise, interface is an interface name with the configuration found. Okay, so let's do something here. Let's set sudo IP link set eth1 down. We're gonna take that offline. I need to get duplicate this. Call this Kali testing SSH. It should be 68.1.8. Let's see if we can connect over to that. That should go over here. Awesome. So we got our connection here. So one of the cool things also you can do with RoyalTS, you can take this SSH connection, connect with options, connect using SFTP. Bam. Now we've got a copy of this over here. So I don't know if I have. What I can also do is I can go to Ludus, connect with options, connect using SFTP. And there's our WireGuard config. What I should be able to do is I can just copy it over here. And then I can come right over here. Pick that, come and drop it right here. Bam. So now just real easy to be able to do this. And so especially if you're connecting to systems over multiple like hops and SSH channels, it makes it so easy. Hell nice. All right, so we should just be able to tell it, do it ls here. We've got our WireGuard config. So we should just be able to say wg quick. Let's see. If set to true, the WireGuard configuration is saved for the current state of the interface upon shutdown. Okay. Well, let's just try it up. I need to tell it that it's this one right here. There we go. So let's do IP80DR. Cool. So now we've got a WireGuard link over into the network. So now, try our nmap again. Actually, before I do that, I want to check the routing table. Let's do IP route. There we go. Cool. So it's routing everything 10300/16 via WireGuard. Perfect. Did I even run it with sudo? Yeah, I didn't even run it with sudo, man. Check that out. Yeah, cool that you didn't even have to run it with elevated. I remember somebody mentioning you didn't even have to use elevated permissions to run WireGuard. All right, let's try that nmap command again. Let's just go give it a quick shot. It should come back with like 5 hosts that have 445 open, 5 or 6, depending on if it hits the workstation. Now that is unfortunate. This is saying 10300/16 should go over WireGuards. Map specified. Let me just double check something real fast here. So we could do nmap. We could also add a tac E and tell it WireGuard. Force it to go over that interface. We'll see what happens. And so far, I'm not holding my breath. Because it should have come back with this. Because you gotta think, it's running T5, which is insanely fast. And it should have been able to find the 5 hosts with 445 open real quick. Like, this should have been done in 10 seconds. Where's the 3D object folder? I'll be very upset if I don't find this folder in the finished product. Such a useless folder. I don't know what they were thinking with that or what the intent was from the Microsoft engineers. Try pinging the router again. All right. Well, we couldn't ping the router from one of the hosts in here. Let's, well, for lack of a better idea, let's just do it. So we're getting destination host unreachable. That's because that should be wired. I don't know if you can't. Yeah, you can RPing over WireGuard, right? Unknown physical layer type. Damn it. ARP-Tech 8? You suck. Actually, you know what we should be able to do? I think there's port Ludus.cloud adblock. Because the router's running AdGuard, so we can, if I remember what port it's on 3000. So can we curl back to the HTTP 10.3.10.254 port 3000. I can try that. We'll bring the other Kali machine back online. I doubt we're gonna reach it though, because it looks like we're not hitting anything in that network. So I might have to just hit up the guys in the Ludus Discord tomorrow and ask for some advice. I could. So I don't know what kind of configuration might have been in the background on this. This testing Kali was a clone of the base image deployment of this one. So because when it does it, it goes through and it runs a cloud init script. And I didn't want to have to go and try and mess with like doing that to get some of the same setup to it. Because as you can see, that VM doesn't have a lot on it. But I wanted at least Chasm VNC set up, and that's what it does have. So at least that part is working. So I tell you what, let's try that from. Let me connect to this one real quick. Let's go try that same curl command real fast. Kali. So if we do a curl HTTP 10.3.10.254 on port 3000. Sudo. Actually, let me look at some real quick. Let's check our IP addresses. Yeah, 10.3.10.99. So if we actually, if this doesn't work, it should work. Then I think the router may be hosed up. It's connecting. It's doing stuff. Yeah, actually, the deployment didn't take terribly long. It took about an hour to deploy the game of Active Directory Lab. So, I mean, that's something I could easily just start running overnight. Doesn't take very long. Well, actually, I take that back. It takes like... How long does it take? It takes probably about 2 hours because it deploys each of the VMs individually. It doesn't deploy them in parallel. And when it does that, it takes the time because it's going to do a fresh install of the operating system every time it does that. Oh, no, it doesn't. It did that the first time because we built the templates. So it should be fairly quick. Because we've got all these Proxbox templates for the various VMs we've got here. Very base installs. All right, SM, have a good night, man. I'm about to call it a night, too, because it is 12:30, and I actually do have to drive into the office tomorrow. So I need to get more than 4 hours of sleep. Like I've been getting the last couple nights. How's this guy doing? What's his processing looking like? Barely touching his RAM, barely touching his CPU. There's got to be some way to get this Debian 11 router to run outside of hobble mode. Because man, is it slow. Alright, let's reboot the router. Because there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. Getting some grub, doing stuffs, connected. Okay. I'm gonna go try that again real quick from the internal Kali. That was it. This whole time, fucking doggy, it's the router was hosed up. That makes me a sad panda. Look at that. Now the curl request actually completes. Oh wait, we can't do an ARP ping for WireGuard. I forgot about that. Can we just do a regular ping for it though? C5, 10, 3, 10, 2, 5, 4. Okay, so we can ping the router. So network connectivity actually is working over WireGuard now. Why nothing's showing up as having 445 open is weird. I want to go try that real quick in Cali, and that's where we're going to stop for today. So, back here, let's do it in map. No host discovery, only check port 445. Do it stupid fast, and check 10, 3, 10, 0, slash. Yes, I would like to install nmap. Could you actually run nmap now, please? Thank you. So what I'm doing here, I specified capital P little n. That says basically don't do any host discovery, just assume every machine is online. So it's not doing any pings, not doing any ARPs, it should just run it. T5 stupid speed, gotcha. Always thought it was like warp speed from Spaceballs and should never be used. Pretty much, it's ludicrous speed, yes. T5 is ludicrous speed and should never be used. But you know what, it's on my hardware, it's not going anywhere over a network, so I'm doing it. Oh, damn it. I didn't specify. All right, so tack in. I don't care about DNS resolutions, and only show me the open ones. You're trying to lose nerd card? Okay, so look at this. So, yeah, for some reason, everything's coming back as closed filtered. For some reason. Because, like, 10.3, 10.10 should definitely have that open. All right, so we'll have some more debugging to do. Yeah, we'll just have to figure out what's going on with it. But at least we're making progress in understanding how the... Because this is the kind of stuff that we're going to have to sort out when we want to make a deployable lab, right? Whether it be like a King of the Hill or our AV testing lab, any of that kind of junk. This is the kind of things we're going to have to figure out. So, all right, let's go see if anybody's on InfoSec streams that we could raid out to. And if anybody has a raid suggestion, please shout him out. We've raided Chateau the last couple nights. I don't mind raiding him again, but if there's anybody else that someone has a suggestion on, because not everybody who streams this kind of stuff is actually on there, so I still go skulk around in here trying to figure out some of these, see anybody else doing anything interesting tech related. Computer Booter's kind of a neat channel. Let's see if I can find something. Yeah, DJ's still on. Not seeing anybody in here. Let's go check out software and game dev. See if anybody's doing anything fun in there. Making a helmet overlay for Halo? That's kind of cool. Sometimes there's folks in here doing reverse engineering that are really cool. I think a damn mosquito bit me. Okay, we're just gonna go right over to DJ then, because there's nobody else really doing anything super fantabulously awesome. So, thanks, doggy. Yeah, I can't believe how badly I screwed that up, but I appreciate your guidance in getting me back on the right understanding of it. No, you're good, dude. Head off to bed. We're gonna raid DJ because he's a cool guy, and he's doing more hacking stuff. So. All right, everybody, that's where we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. I know it was a bit of an odd stream because it started a little bit late and we were doing a lot of debugging. But shit, when you want to hack stuff, you got to understand how it works. So we're just going to hack away. We're going to tapo. We're going to tinker around and find out. So everyone, I just want y'all to help y'all have a fantastic Thursday tomorrow. Finish the week strong. Don't get weak. Keep at it. Knock it out of the park. I just want you to know one thing. I love you. Peace.